Ann Arbor, nestled in southeast Michigan's Lower Peninsula, is a vibrant university town known for its downtown, diverse culinary scene and growing tech industry. It serves as a cultural and artistic hub, offering world-class attractions that reflect its lively and diverse community. As the heart of Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor benefits from the rich mix of nearby communities, making it a unique urban haven and cultural crossroads. In 1973, Ann Arbor was the home to 33-year-old Sandra June Horwath, known as Sandy to her loved ones. Sandra was a divorced clerical worker at the University of Michigan Hospital and mother of 3 daughters, Robin, Tammy, and Becky. Her daughter, Robin, said of her mother to MLive, quote, "For being 33 years old, she was just so put together and so refined and patient and loving, and she made us feel so loved and protected and safe. She never yelled. She was just so patient with 3 little girls that were all basically within 2 years of each other. She just loved being a mum." The family resided at a property on 3000 block of Brayburn Circle in Ann Arbor after having moved from Allentown, Pennsylvania in 1996, as Sandra's then husband had to relocate to complete his PhD in English. The couple had divorced in 1971, with her ex-husband moving to Rochester in Detroit, Michigan. The 3 girls stayed with their mother in Ann Arbor and got to see their father on weekends. Robin Horwath recalls many fond memories of that time in her life, such as sledding with her siblings and taking trips in the car, where Sandra would always play music. On Monday, October 1st, 1973, Sandra took her 3 daughters to the Sears store at Briarwood Mall, a shopping centre located approximately 3 miles or 5 kilometres west of their home in Brayburn Circle. Sandra and her daughters returned home at 8:30 p.m, with Sandra beginning her usual routine of preparing the girls for bed. An hour after returning home, at 9:30 p.m, Sandra received a phone call from a male friend, although the identity of this male friend is not known. As the clock struck 10 p.m, Sandra had successfully managed to get Robin, Tammy, and Becky to sleep. When the children woke at 6 a.m. the following morning, they were met with an eerie silence. Sandra was nowhere to be seen, and furthermore, she failed to turn up for work at the hospital. Robin was the first of the children awake that morning, and after searching the house for her mother, she called the hospital, who confirmed her uncharacteristic absence from work. Robin, who noticed her mother's car was still in the driveway, then called their babysitter, who quickly arrived at the house to get the girls ready for school. At 10 a.m. on October 2nd, the babysitter reported Sandra as missing to the police. The investigation into Sandra's disappearance swiftly began, with her family and friends worried sick about her. Robin recalled having been told to attend school that week, regardless of the fact that her mother was still missing. After some time with no sign of Sandra, the 3 girls moved to Rochester in Detroit to stay with their father. It was found that the flower beds outside of the home in Brayburn Circle had been trampled, and Sandra's purse plus a checkbook were reported as missing from the residence. Her car and watch were reported as present at the home. Jamie Giordano, a police service specialist with the Ann Arbor Police Department who handles cold cases involving missing persons, informed MLive and the Ann Arbor News that officers found nothing unusual upon their initial inspection of the home. Giordano shared case details in an email sent through the department's public information officer, Chris Page. According to Giordano, a nearby resident reported hearing a noise behind her property at approximately 10:50 p.m, which did stop. However, they did not check what the source of the noise was. Giordano reported that extensive searches were conducted, with officers carrying out ground and aerial sweeps around Sandy's residence. Authorities interviewed numerous neighbours and nearby business owners familiar with Sandra, as well as friends, family, and colleagues. Several individuals were questioned, with some undergoing polygraph tests. Robin Horwath shared with Dateline that her father, Sandy's ex-husband, was also investigated. He provided an alibi, underwent polygraph testing, and was interviewed several times by Ann Arbor police. Authorities have confirmed that he is neither a suspect nor a person of interest in Sandy's disappearance. Sandra's daughters are of the strong belief that Sandra did not leave of her own accord. Robin Horwath told NBC News, quote, "Her parents always wanted us to know, and actually everybody, that, she didn't just abandon, she didn't just get up and leave you girls. That was the one thing everybody tried to instill in us, that she didn't just take off, she loved you girls so much." In April of 1975, a suspect was named in the case. He was Gary Addison Taylor, who resided in Ann Arbor. He was a serial killer, notoriously known as the Phantom Sniper and the Royal Oak Sniper. Taylor began a violent spree by randomly attacking women with a hammer near bus stops, leading to his incarceration as a juvenile. After his release in 1957, he settled in Michigan, took a job as a machinist, and resumed his attacks, targeting women with gunfire, robbery, and assault. In 1961, after threatening 2 women with a butcher knife, he was deemed insane and committed to Michigan's Ionia State Hospital, later transferring to Detroit's Lafayette Clinic. Released for outpatient treatment, he moved to Seattle, where he married and later divorced. He relocated to Houston, where he committed further assaults and was classified as an, quote, escaped mental patient after failing to report for treatment. In 1973, Taylor murdered Vonnie Stuth in Washington, but was released after arrest due to lack of information on his mental health history. 2 years later, he was arrested for another assault, which led to confessions to 4 murders. Investigators found 2 bodies in his Onstead, Michigan home and 2 more in Washington. The former home in Onstead is located just 30 miles from Ann Arbor. Cleared of other murders later linked to infamous serial killer Ted Bundy, Taylor was convicted of 4 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. According to the Ann Arbor News, Gary Taylor was residing near Sandra Horwath's home when she vanished in October 1973, and he was unlocatable soon after. Detectives verified that Taylor and Sandra were acquainted, though the specifics of their connection remains unclear. Although Taylor confessed to many murders, he denies having murdered Sandra. Media reports state that Taylor, who is now in his late 80s, remains incarcerated at Washington State Penitentiary and has refused any further interviews regarding Sandra's case. The FBI's Violent Crime Apprehension Program Missing Persons database reports that when Sandra vanished, she was wearing a white blazer, blue stretch pants, a house dress or blue tank top with a pullover shirt, beige strapped wooden sandals, and was carrying a purse. Sandra was born as Sandra Kemmerer on the 13th of August 1940, and when she disappeared on the 1st of October 1973, she was 33 years old. She stands at 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighs 135 pounds, has long brown hair and brown eyes. Familial DNA is also on file for comparison. Sandra's daughter, Robin, is convinced that Taylor was involved in her mother's disappearance, though the uncertainty about what happened remains heavy on her family's hearts. She hopes he will cooperate with police to provide her family with closure. Despite repeated search efforts, including excavations at Taylor's former Onstead residence, DNA evidence collected there in 2019 did not yield new information on Sandra's case. The Ann Arbor Police Department still considers Taylor a person of interest. Robin sang praises for the police department, stating, quote, "They just always want a resolution for us, which I just think is amazing, that they care about my mum so much." She further commented, quote, "I could never thank them enough for not letting this just fade away." Jamie Giordano of Ann Arbor PD said that the police will keep the case open until she is found. Robin told NBC News, quote, "We talk about her all the time. We have pictures of her everywhere. My dad always says she looked exactly like Ava Gardner, just thick, brown, beautiful hair and beautiful smile. We didn't let this define us, and we just live our life, I guess, in her memory. She would want us to be happy." She told MLive, quote, "It fills a sadness in my heart that there's people that didn't want to forget about her." If you have any information regarding Sandra's vanishing, you can contact the Ann Arbor Police Department at 734-794-6920 or the FBI at 313-965-2323.